What up, everybody? MLB Swing for the Fences show on a Friday afternoon, a great Friday afternoon. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Ring that bell at the bottom right-hand corner because we got winners to pick here. We got some MLB winners. We'll have more NBA winners on the premium Up to Lock show later on today. If you're not a member, get over and become a member at runpuresports.com. You can use the code Mangone15 for 15% off your first month's payment. And we have Mangone on the show, the maker of the 3-Max strategy. Mangone, what's going on here, brother?
Yeah, nothing much. Excited to be here. Talk some MLB with you and G Rising. We were talking pre-show. It's a really fun slate. Also, it's been a great time to be a Run Pure Sports member. Speaking of my single entry 3-Max stuff, Kevin's already got his MLB core up there. If you're looking for K Falix core, he posted on my single entry 3-Max stuff all the time. That's where he lives now. He wants a home where he doesn't get booted out of. So if you want his MLB stuff, his core's already up. Because let me tell you, I bet he's grinding those NBA winners because K Falix crushed it last night. Rubio had a big night who does the Showdown playbook. Pretty good night for Run Pure Sports members if you're playing some NBA Showdown. Now, let me tell you, we're definitely trying to get back after it here on this Heat and Celtics Showdown slate. But we also got MLB here. And I know G Rising's pretty fired up for this slate. I was talking about it pre-show with him a little. And this pitching is, I mean, it's definitely not like a clear-cut slate where you're just like, oh, grab Ohtani, right, or grab Strider. It's going to be a fun slate to talk through the pitching, and it's going to be a fun slate to talk through all these different stacks because for me, it's not a core slate, which I absolutely love. I'm not a huge fan of the core slates. Yeah, at times fading them can be great, but it just kind of eliminates that for me, and I definitely love these slates, so I'm excited to break it down with you guys.
Yeah, there's a little bit with the cores. It's like, I love it because I get to fade it most times, but then you don't love it when there's like 20 hits in the first like 6 innings and you know you're drawing dead when they're all like 25% owned. So there's a little, back and forth with that. But let's bring in G Rising here. Another guy got core plays up on the site, a FanDuel specialist, I would say, because he does love playing on FanDuel. But G Rising, what's going on, man?
Hey, it's Friday. It's a beautiful day here in Michigan, so can't complain. But yeah, excited. Look, I was looking at this slate and I had like many different ways in past that I thought could actually get to the top. And I thought, oh, this is interesting. I got to make some decisions as a 1 lineup or 2 to 3 lineup guy. So I got some decisions to make. Pitching is interesting tonight for sure. But man, a lot of hitting tonight that is definitely some interesting spots. So looking forward to just talking to you guys about that and kind of narrowing some things down here as we are, 2 hours before lock. Not really much weather either that I saw. Maybe a little bit of scare there in that St. Louis game. But, yeah, other than that, looks like a pretty decent night. Middle of May here, getting down. I can't believe we're almost to Memorial Day. That just blows my mind. But, I mean, man, what are we, 7 weeks into baseball? It doesn't seem like it. But, man, I got to get that queue. I've been chasing that FanDuel queue. You guys know tomorrow. I mean, I've come in second a handful of times. It's missed by a couple points. One time I had the top 20 lineup and 6,000 people and somebody freaking beat me. It's just been terrible, you guys. But hey, I'm going to get there here tonight. So let's drum us up some winners.
Speaking of the FanDuel queue, I was very lucky. I got there very early in the season. I got one earlier. So I hope you get one too. So you can come and hang out with me in friggin' Philadelphia, which it's the second time I'm going to go to an MLB final.
By that Rocky statue.
Huh?
I want my picture by that Rocky statue.
Oh, I got you. I'll get a little flex going here for the Rockies.
Yeah,
right on the Rocky statue. Yeah. We'll put the gloves on. I got the gloves over there. I'll get the gloves on and everything. I'll put the wraps. We'll do the full thing. Yeah.
Just don't hit me down the steps. My ass will roll all the way down. Then I'll have to eat gummy after gummy after gummy. You
were doing that anyways. You would have came there gummy after gummy. You would have been walking up the steps eating gummies.
That's true.
We got a bunch of people in chat. Bill Miner, super stoked to see Mangone. I love it. He's a Mangone guy. He said, hit the like button. My man, Mangone. We do love to see it. Bobby H in the chat. I mean, Bobby, it's great that one of the best hitters in all of baseball is finally back in the lineup. My guy, Jose Altuve, from what I hear. I don't know. Bobby told me this earlier, so I'm just going off of what Bobby said. But I did hear he was coming back Friday, so I am pumped. And I probably will, just out of respect, play Jose Altuve just because he is the man. But, yeah, I mean, I can't wait for that. We got a bunch of other people in the chat. What's going on, Jacob? You got my guy Uncle T in the chat. He's loving maybe maybe me on the show. I don't know, I guess. But Uncle T, did you do the playbook today? I wonder if the playbook's up. I know Uncle T does the playbook a few times a week. So if you are a Rumpier member, check out the playbook. Probably done by Uncle T. I think Friday's one of his days, but could be wrong. He can tell us in the chat. But guys, let's unless there's anything else you want to talk about, we can dive right into this MLB slate.
And before we get into baseball, JSU, we got Scott Foster in the chat, and I'll just say this: Scott Foster hasn't coached or not coached. He hasn't reffed any NBA games yet so far. So they're coming though. Well, LeBron's gonna get his Scott Foster game to help get him further in the playoffs.
I'll tell you right now, Mangone. Whoever the refs were last game, we need new refs for the next Lakers game because
I think Mangone can hit one of 19 triples. I seen you back there on the slab. Well, I mean, JS, you can hit one of 19 triples. You guys could do better than LeBron. I mean, come on.
I would say Mangone can hit a wide open layup, but I've seen him miss a wide open layup on the break, so I can't even go there.
I mean, one thing I will say, it was very windy that day. It was a rough scene out that basketball court. So we'll see. I'm not saying I'm going after Mikey come March next year, but there's definitely a possibility. But I'm like Jamal Murray, maybe. I need someone to basically be in front of my face like Snyder or just undercut me for me to make the basket, I guess.
Love it. Yeah, the undercutting. Still one of the craziest things. Definitely at the RPS party I saw was the undercut from Snyder.
It's funny that no one got hurt, right? Because it could have been very bad for sure.
Thank God. I'm so glad that we didn't have to call an ambulance because that would have definitely been bad.
I'm glad you left the knuckle sandwich in the holster because I probably would have threw mine.
Oh, no. G-Ryzen, we would have been throwing hands if that was me and anybody else. Like, definitely would have been throwing hands.
I'd have been throwing my hand candy.
Well, you would have definitely been mellowed out, though, from all the gummies you would have taken. So I don't know. You might have been kind of chill about it.
No, I'd have been mad after getting undercut. I would have been thinking, dude, I got to work. And you're cutting me like this. We're playing fun basketball. Like, that's not good.
Bobby H wants the smoke, Mangone. What do you think about that? He wants JSU on the court.
I would bet Bobby against a lot of people. My issue is JSU is like, he's a damn gnat, man. And that's respectful. I'm being respectful saying that you're a damn gnat. It's just annoying for sure. So I get it. So
JSU's Rip Hamilton.
No, that is a really
that's high praise right there. That's respect.
No, that is respect. To be honest, that's actually like an interesting matchup because we don't truly know how good Bobby is.
That's the thing though, Mangone. It's like you with ping pong. Like I didn't know how good DC or you were when I bet DC over you. We had no idea. And then Mangone's just friggin' pro, just doing all this stuff. I don't even know what he's doing. He's the Chinese grip and whatever the heck else he's showing off to everyone. Friggin', it was ridiculous. And DC was really good too. That's the funny part is they were both really good. Mangone was just a little bit better, and he just always edged him out. Like every game, he just edged him. But yeah, we don't know how good Bobby is, but I'll take the challenge if Bobby wants the smoke. I'll definitely take it
for sure. I want to watch it. I feel like I've been a part of a lot of games. I want to sit back and watch.
Wow, Uncle T giving Bobby respect here. Bobby coming in. We're this is just even. Just pick your favorite here.
Wow. I mean, minus 110 is respect for Bobby. I'll say that.
How tall is Bobby? Does anyone know?
He's taller than me.
Like 6 feet.
No, he's not 6 feet. I don't think.
Oh,
but I'm sure Bobby can comment. But I think he's like he might be like 5'10", 5'11". He probably
Bobby, you're drawing dead already. He's
not over 6'5". What does it matter, right, JSU?
Not over 6'5". If he's like 19 years old and still in like the prime shape of his life, which I don't think he is, I think you're in trouble.
I forgot you left. You didn't get to see Bobby, right, when he was there.
Oh no, I did see Bobby. You're wrong. I saw him. Yeah. I can kind of picture him. Yep. Okay. Yeah, you're drawing dead. Just throwing that out there. But I mean that'll be fun. I can't wait. I love playing hoops. So
I just want to see a 68-yard field goal.
There is no way anyone's putting up no 68-yard field goal. Who is that?
No. DC said he could kick a 60-yarder, 68-yarder. He said.
DC and what's Big Kev both thought they could kick like 60-yard field goals.
I believe DC could kick like a 40 or 45-yard field goal, which is still impressive to me. I don't think I could kick no 45-yard field goal.
That's tough.
But
I made a 35-yarder last year trying to see how far I could kick it, and I mean, I used to play soccer, and I thought for sure I could kick a 40-yard. I couldn't get it there. 35 was tops.
People forget how hard it is. There's kickers everywhere. So it's, I mean, there's not many kickers in the league, right? Like kickers get kicked around like easily. So it's just one of those things where I think it's harder than people realize.
I'll tell Bobby right now, it's going to be harder for him than he realizes to hit me with no damn too small. Your ass will be on the concrete before you hit me with no too small. I'll tell you that right now. I'll put your ass down. All right, not undercut. I'll just put you down.
JSU's relentless, dude. Like JSU, like there's never a break during the game. Like it's just there never is. And if he gives you a break, it means he knows he has you beat, basically.
Mangone's talking from experience.
Because I know how I can tell. Like, and I watched you play.
I still remember worried. I was dead serious when I told Tony we might need to call an ambulance because Mangone was grabbing at his chest, and I was like dead worried he was going to drop on me. We were 4 points in. Mangone was up 4-0 or 4-2 or whatever it was, and I thought he was going to literally just fall over.
Yeah, I was sick 2 weeks before. I think it totally had my system jacked up. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for this game now. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, all right. Chat's getting into it too. Me and Butthole against any RPS 2v2. Okay, we got some challenges over. We'll have to do maybe one day we will do a subscriber thing for either golf or hoops. That would be fun. Got a little tournament going. I'd be in for a little tournament of hoops or golf or whatever. I wouldn't be good at the golf, but the hoops would be good.
It's something we plan to do in the future, right? But we're hoping it'd be a good time.
Oh, cornhole? Well, the Niehaus family is just gonna win. That's not even fair.
Amber and I are reigning DK champions.
Yeah, Amber and you. So Niehaus and you. Yeah. What do you mean?
We smoked everybody. We smoked everybody. We dusted the field. It was easy peasy.
My point though is you need a Niehaus to win. I think in our group is my point. So you had Amber. That's free money. You probably own. Did you own Big T?
We were definitely dogs going in. People were doubting, and then they saw Amber and I start throwing bags, and they started realizing that they misjudged.
Did you own Big T?
We didn't get a chance to play them. They lost a few rounds earlier, but we did play.
On them, they lost before you could play. I like that. You just absolutely flexed on them there. I like it.
Yeah, they lost a little earlier, but they were the defending champs. They had the target on their back, so they had a little more pressure than we did.
Don't make it. You and Amber whooped everybody. Just say it like that. So you would have whooped them if you saw them. I like the confidence.
We would have beat them, and I was ready to pull out some Hundy spots out of my pocket, but we didn't get the Big T. I was thinking that was my moment to get a few bucks out of him and talk shit that me and his wife whooped this bag. But hey,
I love it.
But hey, I did like his bet today. He had Matt Guy at 12-1 to win the Cornhole singles championship on DK.
I can't find it on my
DK. On DK. That was a pretty good bet. I got in on that.
Mangone, I can't literally find it on I search for the cornhole, what's it called? The ACL or whatever it's called.
Did you search under all sports?
Yeah, I couldn't find it.
There's a slight chance because you're in Massachusetts and it just got passed pretty recently that maybe cornhole's not allowed.
Oh, that could be it. Yeah, that could be. I was damn, I want to bet this so bad because he is good.
There's definitely a slight chance. I mean, maybe just give it another look to try and find it, but I wouldn't be surprised because again, it's fairly new in your state and not everything gets regulation right away. So
that's fair. But if you can bet 12-1 on Matt Guy, if you're into that stuff or you just like money, 12-1 odds, Matt Guy is live. He's a stud when it comes to the bag.
You're not going to get too many other people at 12-1 odds, any sport. I mean, that's legit could have a chance to win it. He's done it many times. I saw that. I couldn't get on that quick enough.
Yeah, I found it right here.
Someone said, is Riz drinking today? Which I'm assuming he means G Ryzen. And the answer is, of course, yes. When is G Ryzen not drinking on a show?
It's Friday. I don't have shit to do. Might as well drink. I have a safety meeting, but I'm in the house. I can't do that in the house.
Safety meeting. What is that? You just go smoke weed outside with your friends?
Yeah, we have it out in the garage. I got a 55-inch TV, refrigerator, bar, table, little couch. The neighbors come by. We have a safety meeting. We text safety meeting, and everybody.
And you were talking about how
sports.
you were talking about how me and Mangone live day to day. I mean, that sounds pretty cool to me, Mangone.
Yeah.
Just like going out with your friends, smoking, having a refrigerator and a TV out there in the garage. He's got a man cave in his garage.
How is she?
It's a good picture. I got 3 female. It's 3-1 in my house. So I had to find me a safe haven out in the garage. So, that's the only place that's safe. They bring me food out. Pizza knows to come to the garage. They don't even go to the front door. So, it's great, but safety meetings are always a good time. My friends like to come over and live through my FanDuel. What do we got? Who we winning? Who we voting on? And then they all cheer when I hit a homer. It's like a party. It's a good time.
G Rising, why have you not posted a picture on Twitter of the setup? That's what we need. We need that on Twitter.
I can do that.
I'm in.
We need like a safety meeting.
Place to
we
hang
need a
out.
safety meeting pick of the whole thing, just the whole thing. A safety meeting pick through the garage.
Yeah.
Need the pick because we always hear about these safety meetings.
One.
All right, we got one. Let's hit this slate here, guys. Don't forget, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. If you like free winners and you like what we're bringing, you watch these shows on a daily basis, you want more of these shows, just hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already, which I assume most of you are or should be. But if not, ring that bell. Mangone, we'll start with you here at pitcher. And at the top, I mean, you were talking about it before. It's an interesting slate here. Big slate. You got Joe Ryan, Alcantara, Miller, Elder. I mean, the 9K and up range, Mangone. What are we doing here? Because there's not that many. There's only one 10K or higher price pitcher on the slate.
Yeah, none of these pitchers up top, they're good options, but it's not just the slam the lock button on, right? We've had slates where I've just been hey, there's guys that are just obvious plays up top that you need to play, and that's it. Joe Ryan is the first guy we'll discuss. He's going against the Angels. Nice little late night hammer if you're into that kind of stuff, right? Let's say you're hanging out at the safety meeting and the boys are like, oh, what are we rooting on? We got Joe Ryan as a late night hammer. Who doesn't like that? He's going to be an option at 9:38, right? That's a nice little late game that we get to be able to watch. And if you look, this Angels lineup, it's solid, but I'm not that scared of it, especially with the way that Joe Ryan's been pitching, right? He's talented. Yeah, there's some reason to be concerned that the Angels have hitters, but I think this is a spot where we can make a really good case for Joe Ryan if you want to spend up for him. The next guy to talk about is another late night hammer. It's Sandy Alcantara, right? He's going against the Giants. We do know the Giants are a team that can hit home runs a ton, but this Giants team, it's not really one to be that scared of too. It's a 7.5 total. We're in that San Francisco ballpark. It's going to be in the 50s. It's a pretty good spot here for Alcantara, I think. So I like him as an option too, as well up top. But there are some cheaper options that we should discuss that I think are going to be, worth kind of taking a chance on if you like to spend up for your bats. This is a slate where I don't think we need to prioritize these guys up top. I think they're very good options, but I think if you think you want to spend up at your pitchers instead, I think it's definitely worth doing it. So, I think those are going to be two guys I look at. Elder's another interesting one to discuss. Obviously, going up against a team like Seattle. Seattle's a team that you can make the case that you never really want to target. It is a lower total on their team total, so that's kind of encouraging. It's 75 degrees in Atlanta. Wind is slightly blowing in, but it's hotter than some of those other environments. That kind of makes me a little more concerned about someone like Elder. I think Elder is, again, he's perfectly fine, but I worry about his ceiling compared to some of these other options. And I'm also not getting him for dirt cheap, right? I'm getting him for 9.2K. So Elder, I think I'm going to be a little bit lower on. His strikeout prop is 5.5, while those other guys above are at 6.5. So I think I just like trying to find that extra $600 or $1,000 to go Ryan or Alcantara instead. I'll go to the next couple options, Jay. So I guess let's say 8K and above, because there's a lot of pitchers we're going to talk about. But Blake Snell's the next interesting option to discuss, because I am not a huge Blake Snell guy. Obviously, he's going to be one of the more interesting points in the slate because he pretty much always just projects really well, right? Guy can get a ton of strikeouts, but he can give up a ton of home runs. He hasn't had a huge performance this year that I've been scared of. Sure, he got 20 DK points the one time, but I think Blake Snell is this option. If he's going to gain some traction and ownership, I'm kind of considering going the other way from him. I feel like he'll be the same in that aspect, JSU. This is in San Diego, though. It's not in Boston. Going up against this Boston Red Sox lineup, which they've hit really well this year, but it's mainly been at home. So that's the other concern that you could have with this Red Sox team. Yeah, we haven't targeting them that much, but now they're on the road rather than at home. But I think based on Snell's ownership, I like to have a guy or two to like make a big fade on when I kind of go to my pitching. And I kind of think that Blake Snell is going to be just a guy that I fade and hope for the best, right? There's a ton of other options I think that we can consider for cheaper that are pretty interesting. And there's other ones up top that I think are good. So for this upper range, it's definitely Ryan and Alcantara for me. They're definitely my favorite options. You can also make a case for DeSclafani. I should have touched on him. Yeah, his strikeout prop is a lot lower. I mean, for a guy that's 8.7K, you're only getting a 4.5 strikeout prop. But I think against this Marlins lineup on the road, I think it's worth kind of considering him. So I'd rank him Ryan, Alcantara, and then I'd probably put DeSclafani third. And Snell will probably be my fade of the 8K and above pitchers.
Yeah, I for some reason do most of the time always end up fading Snell when he's popular. I don't mind playing him when he's like, not as highly owned, but for whatever I always feel like he's just one of those pitchers. He always gets caught on these slates in a price tag or a range where everyone just kind of flocks to him. And I don't like it. I just feel like he's just so safe, and like the upside is kind of lacking most of the time, even when he's chalked. But it's not a great pitcher slate, like you said. There, a lot of these guys, there's not the studs to pay up for, or not as many. So, Rising, what are you doing here? Start with Blake Snell though, because he's definitely going to be one of the most popular pitchers, at least on DK on this slate. What about FanDuel?
Yeah, I mean, the way I've been playing with my pitching this year is, like I said, I've only been truly afraid of Strider this year. I think he's the only pitcher that can really beat you on a slate this year. I mean, there hasn't been that 50-60 spot religiously. So I've been thinking if I can keep within 15 to a home run, 15 to 18 points, and, kind of gauge what I think the high end of pitching would be. So, we don't have anybody like that great up top. Yeah, Ryan, it's got an Angel team. I think he's going to have a little issue. So, to me, I think paying down a little bit obviously is the play. So if I feel as if I can get 30 points from any pitcher tonight on FanDuel, I think I got a chance to win any GPP. So to me, I'm kind of looking to where I can go down into the middle of the stack. And Snell for me is a guy that I kind of looking at. The reason being is Boston's a top 5 team against strikeouts against left-handers. Snell, I mean, you look at his game log, he's 5 to 6 innings every night. You're going to probably at least get 5 to 6 Ks at least, if not more, against a Red Sox team who does strike out, as I said, quite a bit. So to me, if I can get a win out of them and they can have the lead and I can get that win and quality start and he does get that 6 innings, I mean, Snell's going to get me that 30 to 40 points that I need. So maybe even 45. So I think Snell's definitely an option. And one of my favorite options to have in my pitching pool, another guy I think too, is Reed Detmers going all the way down a little further. If you want to look at that against Minnesota, I think that's kind of interesting on the lower end too. It gives you a little more bats. He's only 8,100 on FanDuel. So even on DK, I think Detmers could be an interesting SP2. I think, you're going to look at maybe guys like, Scalafini, he's going to be popular. But on FanDuel, he's 91. He's only 200 more than Snell. I think those two are both going to garner some ownership on FanDuel because I think Ryan's going to be scared away. Everybody's going to be scared away at 11K. You're not going to be able to really get the bat you want. I really like the Alcantara matchup, but at 10-4, I think I would rather save, 1,500, 2,000 and use them for my bats. But I do think Alcantara really is probably the best play as far as pitching goes today. They give him a long leash. He's going to throw 110 pitches. I mean, they even let him get out of his own trouble. He's going to have 6 innings, probably 7 innings. The strikeout opportunities are there against San Fran. He's got a pitcher's park. So, I mean, I don't mind that at all, but really, I think Snell's my guy that I'm going to really be looking at over on FanDuel for the reasons I said, with Boston having a little bit of trouble striking out against lefties. And I just think Snell's good for 5 or 6 innings. And I think I hate to say it, but I think he's safe to get me the 30 points that I need, even though saying safe and Snell doesn't generally even mix, but I feel like he can get me the 30 points tonight.
I mean, I think he's safe. No, I think saying Blake Snell is safe is honestly, I don't know about 30 on FanDuel, but I think he's safe. I think on DraftKings, he gets you 12 to 16 or something like that. I don't think he blows up.
Using 2 condoms on a Friday night at the safety meeting, though. I mean,
well, he might like double condoms if he's playing someone like Blake Snell. That's what I mean, though.
I'm too old for that shit. I don't need a condom.
He hasn't used a condom since what, like 1980 or so? How old is I don't even know how old G Rise is.
I can't even tell you.
Yeah, who knows?
I know my mom would clean my room and leave them on top of my bed. Like she'd make my bed and she'd just put that wrappers that I throw under my bed. And I would be so embarrassed to even come out of my room for like a half a day, like ducking. My mom didn't see me. You know, I was like trying to run out the back door, like, shit, Ma. Hoping she wouldn't say the wrong name of the girl the next time, you know. You never know.
Uncle T, don't even sit there and say you don't know what a condom is, sir. You definitely used them back in the day. Get out of here. You might. It's been a while, but you're G Rising. You guys are in the same bracket, I'm sure. But
shit, I'm 50. I'm gonna be 51 in 9 days.
Yeah, I think you and Uncle T got to be close, right?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
That's the old guys pod. That'll be coming up again once football gets around. We'll have the old guys back together.
I got the wisdom.
The wisdom? Are you the oldest at RPS? No, no way.
I might be. I think Uncle T may have me by a few months or something. I don't remember. I think we talked about it one time. I don't remember. I was probably shit-faced.
Uncle
Look
T
at my man, 53.
Yeah, he's got me.
And going. That mustache is still going strong too. I mean, come on, 53. Uncle T. Guy looks great too. I love Uncle T. But yeah, I mean, we had a question in the chat. I did want to get to it. Where was
That's
it?
Right,
here? Any interest in Jake Irvin tonight? Anyone?
Yeah, I don't need to. I understand it. You're attacking a Tigers offense, and like they're always a team you can like attack. You feel like, but honestly, I don't feel the need to. I think there's other options that I'm considering. I think you just have a little bit more upside below 8K. I don't know if you want me to just dive in and talk about someone, because there are some options I think we should discuss their games here.
Yeah, you can dive in there. I'll just say, like, on a site like DraftKings, I think you could take a shot on a cheapie on this slate if you wanted to. Like, I get what you're saying, but
I mean, to me, I will say one thing, being in Detroit, one thing they've been talking quite a bit about on talk radio is how patient they've been stressing for the Tigers to be. If you look recently at the last team stats, the Tigers are at the bottom of baseball for strikeouts here recently. They've been trying to be more patient. It's something they've been beaten into the team. I know it's something they're really talking about, here. The Tigers are being patient, taking, not swinging at bad pitches, waiting for their pitches. They've been talking about that philosophy. So, I mean, one thing I like to do is, baseball is a game of streaks, man. So I like to look at last 7 days, last 15 days, how are teams hitting? How are, bullpens looking, this and that. I mean, I just like to look at recent kind of stats. You can kind of pick up on, maybe a team is hot and, people aren't even paying attention to them and it's a good hitting conditions. Those are teams I like to stack up and go with. So, just right now, I would stay away. Tigers aren't really striking out, but I mean, the win equity's there for sure. But, you want strikeouts, and definitely on FanDuel, where I play, if I have a good chance at a win and 5 strikeouts, I think that pitcher can do me just fine because, and maybe give up, he gets a quality start. That's even, that's, obviously the best. But yeah, I mean, that's 10 points on FanDuel, a win and a quality start. So, I mean, that's a pretty big deal. You get 4 or 5 Ks with 10 extra points like that. I mean, you're in the game. So.
All right, there you go. Mangone, do you want to dive into the lower range here?
Yeah, we should, because there's definitely some options that you got to kind of consider here. We'll start with, I like Martin Perez. I think he's pretty solid. I mean, he's going against the Rockies, and I'm not scared of this Rockies offense. Also, I'm just curious, is CJ Cron even back? Because I know CJ Cron went out one game. Yeah, CJ Cron's not even in the lineup. That's the guy you're actually scared of, right? Like, yeah, sure, like, Randall Grichuk's fine against lefties, but am I really scared of Randall Grichuk, right? I think this is a solid bounce back spot for Martin Perez. The last 2 starts haven't been great, but before that, he had been absolutely crushing. I don't know if there's anything that maybe could have fallen off with him. Maybe DC has some read on it, right? Maybe I'll hit him up and see if he's got it, because I know he's really good at finding those things. But my point being is, I think this is a great bounce back spot for Martin Perez. Projects pretty well. Strikeout prop. It's never super encouraging, but he's one of those safe guys too. If you want one of those safe guys, he's kind of safe for me. So I like him. I think he's definitely in play. Matt Boyd, I think he has a ton of upside against Washington, but we know his downside could be kind of shaky. That's the one thing to kind of put in mind. But 7.1K, it's a cheap price for the upside that he has, I think. So Matt Boyd in the conversation for me. And one more guy I want to kind of bring up. There's a lot of different guys you could kind of make cases for down here, but I think Brandon Belak is definitely an interesting play. Oakland's just not a team I'm like super scared of. Sure, there's a couple guys in the lineup that can kind of get a hold of them. You're obviously like Rooker, we talk about, me and JSU talked about him in the Discord chat, how he can just hit bombs, but I'm not that scared of Oakland, where I think Brandon Belak is definitely someone that we should be considering. The one thing he definitely has going in his favor too is he's got the win probably locked up, right? Or at least you feel pretty confident. He's got to make it those 5 innings, but I do think he's a pretty good option that we need to be considering here. So, but I'm not dying to dive down to the 6K range that much. I think it's more of these like mid-tier options that I like taking chances on instead of someone like Belak all the way down here at the bottom. And he does have a good pitcher's ump as well. So that's kind of an encouraging thing that he's got going for him. Yeah,
I could see Colorado getting kind of smoked by Martin Perez, even though, again, Martin Perez, another guy who just he's just kind of consistent. Like he's gotten hit his last 2 games, but before that, it's kind of steady. I could see him getting it done though against Colorado. They're just bad. Yeah. Ryan, what are you thinking?
No Trout in the lineup tonight, so that's another nice thing for Joe Ryan.
Oh, that's definitely nice for Joe Ryan. That'll be good. All right, Joe Ryan bumped up a little bit in my book. G Ryan, what are you doing with like that mid-tier to like cheap range here?
I mean, Reed Detmer's really on FanDuel is probably as far as I would probably go, but there's a handful of guys you could look at. I mean, Mangone mentioned Boyd. I mean, he's definitely got strikeout upside. I mean, definitely for sure, but he does give up the big inning, quite a bit. I mean, I don't mind him. I mean, you could look at a guy like Irvin if you thought, if you really want to, but like I said, against Detroit, they really haven't been striking out. So I don't really see anything down there that stands out to me, just kind of flipping through. I mean, truthfully, I think the lowest I'd go on FanDuel is Snell, to be honest. I mean, Reed Detmers, maybe if you wanted to go there, but I don't think there's any other reason to go there. The pricing is good enough for you can build one hell of a team with a $8,900 pitcher. And like I said, you can go to DeScalfini at 91 if you want. If you want to pay up, you can. I think Elder's not really a bad play either here tonight. But yeah, that mid-range, on FanDuel, Ryan's 11, Alcantara's number 2 at 10.4, and then you got Elder at 10.2. So those are the higher end. If I had to play the 3 Alcantara, it's probably the safest, I'd say. But I'm not interested in playing Stroman against Philly, Kikuchi, no way against Baltimore. Suarez against the Cubs. I mean, Cubs haven't been hitting that good, but no thanks. I'm not interested with Gibson, even though, he's got some strikeout upside once in a while. Bad matchup for Mats. Bielik, as you mentioned, I mean, he's got a good chance for a win. I mean, that's for dang sure. If he can get to 5 innings, I don't mind that. Greinke, no way. So, I mean, yeah, there really isn't that many options. There's, a handful down low. But like I said, I'm probably not going any lower than Snell, but I only play a handful of lineups.
So if you were playing on like DraftKings and you needed an SP2, right? And you needed a cheap guy, G Ryzen, is there anyone you could like sell yourself on? I know you don't play a ton of DraftKings, but like if you did and you needed a cheap SP2, could you sell yourself on anyone?
Yeah, I think Detmers is probably the guy that I would sell myself on, truthfully.
I think he's one of my favorite today too.
I think Detmers would be a guy. I mean, they're going to let him throw. He's going to be in the 90s, mid-90 pitches. I think he's a guy that can get some strikeouts. Minnesota Doves has some strikeouts against lefties. They are, let's see here. They're middle of the pack, actually, against lefties. So, I don't mind Detmers at all, but I could talk myself into. I truly think I've been asking myself when I look at these pitching slates anymore, like, do I think pitching's going to beat me tonight if I don't have the right pitching? And generally, that's not been the case. You got to have the right stacks. So to me, the pitching, I just feel like if I don't lose it at pitching, I have a chance. So that's why I was saying, like, being safe.
So then the question becomes, how many pitchers on this slate can absolutely dust you?
I don't think any.
You don't think any? Maybe 1 or 2 though.
Maybe Ryan, if he got really hot tonight, just because he's at a 30% K rate. I mean, he definitely has an opportunity, but I mean, I don't like that matchup for him. I mean, that's just kind of tough. I just don't think anybody's going to get a 60 points on FanDuel that, I got to have that guy or I'm going to lose tonight. And if it does happen, the percentages of it happening are very low. So if it beats me and it's some random dude, then I'll just be like, whatever, I'll move on to the next day. But at least my thinking, my process in my mind was right. And like I said, if I don't feel like I can lose by a home run or more at a pitcher, I'm all for it. I'm going for it because I feel like if I can capture those home runs and those stacks, it's going to outweigh. Every time I've won a GPP, I look and like, well, I could have had that pitcher. I could have had that pitcher. I still would have won. It's because I nailed the stacks. But generally, the price you pay for a pitcher determines which way you're going with your stacks. So, that's why I kind of like to go the mid-level, the low end, because I can get some pretty nice bats.
I think it's a good slate to spread your pitchers out and embrace not playing like the chalk combo, right? Like if you think the chalk combo is like, I don't know, like Snell and like Alcantara, right? Like maybe group them away from each other. Don't play them together, right? If that's like the combo most people are going to play. It's a good slate to kind of get different with your pitching.
Well, I'll tell you right now, if I have like one team in like a large field tournament, there's no way I'm playing Snell or I don't know, like Alcantara. I'm not playing like the chalk pitchers. I would get, because you're going to get the spread out ownership on some of these guys. And outside of like the top 2 or 3 guys, like you can make the case that a lot of these other guys are similar and the ownership's going to be much different after like those 3 or 4 like high owned guys like Ryan, Snell, Alcantara. Maybe Perez gets kind of up there a little bit as the day goes on. I could just see on DraftKings just because of that price tag. Maybe he gets a little push here. But after those 4 guys, I think you're going to see some spread out ownership on pitcher. So, that's how I would go if I had like
Snell will be 35% or higher on DK?
I think he'll be like 30. Yeah.
If I'm ever at a spot where I feel like I could dust 2/3 of the field, but with making the right pitching choice, to me, that's not really chalk.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
You may be the highest owned, but I still feel like
if I had one lineup in a large field tournament on a big slate like this, I would just not play them. That's just how I would do it.
Yeah, fair.
If I had 3 though, it's different. You could play 1 or 2 and fade him on 1 or 2. Just depending, how different you want to be. Also depend what bats you get too in your lineups too, because that makes a difference in who you play from a pitcher standpoint. I'm fine with being chalky at pitcher if you're going to go off the board when we get to the stacks and the bats. So
Agreed.
It just all depends on how you want to construct your roster. But Mangone, we had one more question. Michael Kopech someone was asking about him, which me personally, I can't roster him. He's going up against the KC Royals. Could he do okay? Maybe, but like,
I'd rather drink Bud Light than roster Kopech.
Yeah, he gives up bombs too sometimes. He gets in bad spots where he's just all over I could see them getting to him too.
I like Kansas
easily.
City anyway.
I understand the upside because of the 5.5 strikeout prop in Vegas, but I'm just not buying it. He's a guy that there's other options I'd rather take chances on.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm with you. I like Detmers and Perez in that range. I don't like Boyd, but like he's someone who'll get some ownership too, I'm sure, in that range. So, all right, top 3 pitchers, both of you guys just rank them, and then we'll go to the stacks and the hitters. Mangone, I'll start with you.
Yeah, the top 3 you said?
Yeah, 3, 4, whatever you want to give.
I'll go. Let's go.
Damn, Mangone, give them all. Just list them.
Let's go. Ryan. We'll go Alcantara, Perez. And let's go with Desclafani as number 4.
All right, G. Rison.
I'm going Alcantara 1. Okay. I'm going Snell 2. I'm going to go Ryan 3, and 4. I'll go DeSclafani.
How is Snell 2? You just talked. You just wanted to crawl down his pants. Literally like 10 minutes ago, you loved Snell. How is he 2?
Well, I'm not paying up, though. I'm not paying up for Alcantara. I think Alcantara is the safest play, but I'll take the savings because I truly believe Snell, on a percentage, has probably an 80% chance to keep up with him. So I'm going to keep it.
I'm going to send G. Rison a thing of Bud Lights I'm just gonna send. I know. I'm gonna send them to him. Just ship them right to his house. Bud Lights. He'd pound them and just
I'll leave them in the
thing.
garage for the other safety meeting members.
Modelo's only for G
I
Rising.
just like Modelo, so I mean,
It's
I
so
get
funny
it,
whenever I see a Modelo commercial, G Rising, I only think of you now. Literally, I see him on TV, and I only think of G Rising now. He's the only one I know who drinks them. You drank them before they were cool, for sure. I honestly, I don't know anyone who drinks them besides you.
They just do me fine the next day. I wake up, I feel good. I don't really have headaches. I don't have hangovers or nothing. So it's good.
Uncle T, the JSU hoodies, that's a copyright infringement. We got to get authorization to start selling them. Okay, we got to talk with the man. I got to make sure Dion's okay. Well, he left, so he might be okay with it now. But Prime Time needs to give me the okay. I don't want to get in trouble. You know what I mean? With no copyright. So I got to talk to the bosses first, but we'll get you one. Don't worry. My 3 pitchers, I'm going with Joe Ryan. I'm going with Reed Detmers and Belak. I'll go with him as my 3rd guy. So those will be the 3 guys I like as of now. I think 4th would be Perez if I had a 4th guy. But yeah, Big T's in chat. Weed, Modelo's. I think of G immediately. There you go. Yep, pretty much. But there we go. By the way, the party is the funniest thing. Whenever you just smelled something, you knew G Rising was standing like behind you or next to you. Whenever you smelled like any whiff of weed, you knew G Rising was just around you. You didn't even have to
looking for participants. Like, come on, let's go.
You got a few takers. You got
absolutely.
Some takers.
I never was lonely. I always had a sidekick with me. It was a good time. We always during safety meetings, you have some good conversations. It's a good time.
Yeah, JT didn't arrest you or anything like that. It was fine. He didn't mess with you at all, did he?
No, absolutely not. He, in my neck of the woods, it's totally legal. Maybe not exactly where we were in Kentucky, but we were up high enough on the hill. Nobody cares.
There we go. Perfectly. All right, let's get to the hitters, guys. We'll go run through this slate game by game. And let's just start here. Detroit and Washington. Detroit, Matthew Boyd on the mound, and Jacob Irvin for Washington. And Mangone, I'll throw it to you first, but I will just say, kind of like a little Washington here. I probably won't play any Detroit, but I think I can play some cheap bats from Washington if I need like a cheap mini stack here.
Yeah, I mean, one thing about Boyd, it either goes really bad or really good, right? It's like there's not kind of in between. So you could definitely make a case for the Nationals, but I don't think it's the right slate to like do a 5-man. I think the mini stack in the Nationals or a random one-off if you need savings is perfectly fine with someone like Lane Thomas, Meneses. Those guys are perfectly fine. Maybe a Ruiz, but not really looking to go crazy with the Nationals, mainly mini stacks for me.
I'm sorry. So my wife just slid me a note and then just left. That's why you saw my dog just staring out there. So I was trying to read the note while listening to what Mangone said, but I kind of caught like half of what he said. So I'm just going to go to G Rising and hope he said stack Washington and fade Detroit.
So, yeah, I mean, you look at this game here. I was just kind of looking at some, team stats against lefties. So Boyd, obviously being a lefty, Washington literally has the 3rd highest team average against lefties, but they've only hit 8 home runs all year off lefties. So, are you going to get singled to death with Boyd? Probably not. Boyd usually gets beat by home runs. So to me, with that fear being gone since they've only hit 8 home runs, now I'm thinking about it. I think Boyd is maybe a little bit better play than I initially, thought of now that I think about it. But, Boyd's problem is always the homer. He does have some strikeouts. But, I mean, I'm not really ever interested in playing anybody from Washington. The Tigers, I'm not really interested. There's too many good spots with 12 games today. So I'd pass, but I'd lay caution on both sides, really.
So I'm going to play some Washington mini stacks. I like Lane Thomas in the 1 hole at 3,900. I think if we're talking about bombs, at least he's someone who can get me one at least. So I'll take a chance on him. I don't think that the Washington catcher Ruiz is that bad. Probably won't play Abrams since he's going lefty on left and 2,900 though. So yeah, those are probably the two guys, because a lot of these other guys that are cheap that I would have interest in. Oh, Candelario, that's the other guy. I would definitely 3,100. He's been hitting well too recently, 2, 3, 3, and 2 hits his last 4 games. I could definitely play him at 3,100. So yeah, Washington mini stack. I'm in for. I'll play some Washington guys and hopefully get some low on Washington here. So
Candelario's been hitting 550 in the last week. The dude's been he's top of majors as far as individuals. 1 homer, hitting 550. The dude is 11 for 20 in the last 7 days.
Yeah, the note doesn't say anything fun. It does not say get Reggie cookies. It says she's going to her parents' house and she left Reggie here because she can't bring him. So me and Reggie are hanging out for the night. Boys only in the house JSU, which is fine with us. So we'll be chilling, watching some baseball and hoops all night. But game 2, we got Chicago, we got Philly. We didn't really talk much about Stroman. I think Mangone talked a tiny bit about Stroman maybe, but Suarez as well, the pitcher. Any bats you guys like in this situation? G. Rise, I'll come right back to you.
You know what? I mean, this is a game I kind of scratched off. There wasn't anybody that I was really in particular interested in. I mean, I kind of narrow it down to a few different guys I like. I think both pitchers here are kind of enough to scare me away to where I think there's better spots to attack. So, yeah, with 12-game slate, I didn't really have too much here in this game that I was really looking at.
All right. Well, when you say it like that, Jake, it sounds a little worse. Okay, just ease back on that. But Mangone, what are you doing here? Chicago, Philly?
Yeah, no Chicago or Philly for me. I mean, maybe like a Trey Turner one-off, right? Like that's fine. Like those good hitters on Philly. If you get them as one-offs, I won't say no. But yeah, I'm not that interested in this game. It doesn't seem like one that we didn't talk about liking these pitchers or targeting these pitchers earlier. So I'm out on this game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm out on this game. The one dude though that I will just say has been crushing it. I talked about, I think it was on the last show I did. I can't remember, but Morel for the Cubs has just been on fire, man. So like 4,400. I'm gonna play some of him, even if it is just like a one-off at second base. I'm gonna play a little bit of Christopher Morel, just because of how hot he's been. But that's it for me. Let's go to Baltimore and Toronto. And I saw someone in the chat earlier saying some of the projections he was looking at, they weren't given that much respect to Baltimore. So he does not like Kikuchi. He likes Baltimore here. I'm never really a Kikuchi is like hit or miss to me. He's one of those pitchers. It seems like he's normally hit or miss, but he's had some decent games this year. Neither of you guys talked about him in the pitching breakdown, though. So I assume maybe it's a spot you might like, G. Risen.
Yeah, I mean, I actually kind of like some Baltimore bats a little bit. Mountcastle, Rushman, Santander. I mean, all these guys, I think, have all powers against lefties. So they're definitely somebody that I'd be interested in, maybe kind of like a mini stack. So, yeah, I'm definitely interested in some of these Baltimore bats. I think they'll be a little bit lower owned here tonight, too. So I think, a guy like Santander is a decent option. Any of them guys for one-offs is what I'll probably be looking at here tonight. But I mean, obviously, Toronto, I don't mind the park. They moved the fences in. Kikuchi, I mean, he's been a guy, like you said, that gives up runs. I mean, you look at his game log, 4 earned runs, 0, 5, 0. So, I mean, if you go by that, I mean, he's due for a decent game. But last game, he gave up 3 homers, but only gave up basically 4 earned runs. So he gave up some solo shots. So really, to me, Kikuchi is a guy that doesn't get blown up. But if he gives up a solo homer or 2, I think he's, somebody that, we can pick on a little bit. But I'm not going to full pick on Kikuchi. It's just too much of a risk, like you said. I think with 12 games, we got plenty option now. If this was a 6-game slate and it was like yesterday's slate and it was like that night and it was 4 or 5 games and all we had to pick against Kikuchi, I think Baltimore, obviously could have been like a chalk team, but not tonight. There's too many options.
Yeah, I kind of like Baltimore whenever they get the lefty on the mound personally. So I could see myself going to some Baltimore bats. I get what you're saying, though. It's definitely more the risky side because Kikuchi does have that boom or bust, but he can definitely give a solid performance here. So I get the risk. Mangone, would you take the risk on Baltimore?
Yeah, I'm not dying to play Baltimore today. I just think if I went anywhere, I'd go to the Blue Jays side of the ball. I mean, Kyle Gibson's not someone that I'm scared of at all. We talked a little bit about how I like grabbing bats is worth it today, and grabbing Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Varsho, Chapman has been crushing the ball this year, Bichette, Springer. That 1 through 5 is strong for sure. Then you can mix in a Kiermaier at the bottom or a Jansen. Belton, Merrifield are the guys I'm not dying to get to, but I do think that like at least taking 4 of the 5 at the Blue Jays, I think is worth it, and I think it's not a bad stack. I don't know if they're going to make like my like top stacks list at the end of the day, but I do think they're in consideration today for sure. There's other ones I like that are kind of have similar totals, so they could just kind of be that last team out. But I do like the Blue Jays stack. I don't want to completely ignore it.
All right, Mangone's more on the Blue Jays side. Let's move to Cleveland and the New York Mets here. Carrasco and Quantrill on the mound for these two guys. What are we doing, Mangone? I'll just throw it right back to you. Any love for either of these two teams stack-wise?
No, I have zero interest in the Guardians. Like, I just haven't been playing this team much, and I'm not going to start to now. I've never been a team I've been Xing off. I'm not dying to play the Mets, but I will not ignore Pete Alonso right now. Dude is at 3 home runs in his last 3 games, so don't ignore that. I think he's a solid one-off today, so that's someone that I would definitely be considering. But other than that, it's Pete Alonso or bust for me in this game.
Yeah, Pete Alonso, I'm fine with if you want to play. Again, another guy's just been on fire. 3 home runs his last 3 games. I get why you could play some Pete Alonso. G. Risen, do you feel the same about the Tribe? I see our guy Stevers in the chat, big Tribe guy. Are you in on the Tribe?
I will never play the Tribe. I'm never going to play the Tribe. I mean, maybe a one-off here or there, or the, Guardians or whatever you want to call them. They'll always be the Indians to me.
I don't think I've ever stacked them since they changed their name, honestly.
I don't
think it's because of the name though change. It's more just, but I don't think I've like stacked them since that point, like ever.
I mean, you look at them, they literally are the bottom of Major League Baseball in homers. They only have 24 homers. And you look at the top of the league and you have a team like Atlanta with 87 homers. I mean, you're playing on FanDuel, you're chasing homers. So why the hell would you stack the team that is dead last in home runs? It just doesn't make any sense. And if you do, and that one time that they do go off and you hit it, good for you. You keep doing that. That's just going to be a losing endeavor. So I am not too interested in that. But as you mentioned, Alonso, man, he hit that walk-off for me last night, put me in a pretty good spot. And then, of course, Houston had to go off and get some runs there, tail at the end, and bump me down a little bit in some of the tournaments I was in. But, yeah, I mean, Pete Alonso is definitely somebody. I mean, this guy's going to hit 40-plus homers, right? I mean, why are we not? I mean, he's a guy you should always be looking at as a potential one-off. And when he's hot, you definitely should be looking at him. So he's definitely a guy that I would be interested in. He's one of my favorite one-offs. Quantrill isn't he's a mid-level pitcher. He doesn't really get blown up, but he does give up some runs. I don't mind the hitting conditions out there in New York. Really not interested, like I said, in any Cleveland guys, but definitely Alonso would be at the top of my list as a favorite one-off.
All right, so as we move to the next game, Atlanta and Seattle, I'll give you Pete Alonso, and then I'll raise you to Ronald Acuna, another stud who's been on fire the last few games. So you got a ton of really good studs to choose from for sure. But we got Miller, I think Bryce Miller, who's had 3 solid starts, only 3 Ks though in his last game out, where he went 7 innings pitched. He only went 81, 85, and 82 pitches his first 3 games. So pretty clean sheets here. But he played in Oakland, Houston at home, and then in Detroit were his first 3 starts. Now he goes to Atlanta and plays in Atlanta here. So does anyone have any little Atlanta stacks? Mangone, I'll throw it to you first.
Yeah, Atlanta's one of those teams. I need to always know what their ownership is going to be. Do you guys think he's going to come? Are they going to come in at high ownership, JSC? Do you have like a read on that?
Right now, I think that they come in probably like 10, like under 10%. I think everyone, I bet Ronald Acuna is just over 10% because it's Ronald Acuna, and people like getting that stud type bat maybe as a one-off or a mini, but like I think the stack is like just under 10%.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the concern that I have with the Braves. If they're going to be lower owned, I think they're worth taking a stab on, but they're not. They're one of those teams that they're not popping a lot for me right now, where I'd have to kind of up them in the projections a bit. So maybe I won't end up getting there as much as I think. Maybe they'll fit more as the mini stack with like an Acuna, but I don't know. I'll leave the Braves talk to you guys, and maybe someone on RPS can get me on the Braves, right? They're good at that, but there's other offenses that I like. Some that we've talked about, some that we're going to get to for sure that I think are just better options.
Bill Miner, totally agree with you. What a shitty name, the Guardians. The Tribe would have been way better. Way better.
Terrible. They should have named themselves the Lake Flies.
What? Lake Flies?
Remember that game?
The Tribe would have been way better. Come on, the Tribe would have been good.
That they had. Remember that game where they had them out against the Yankees? I forgot who they played. It was in a playoff game a few years back, but
I was gonna say I can't. Off the top of my head, I do.
It was alarmingly bad. It was bad. But with Atlanta, anytime if you're MMEing, anytime you can get a team like Atlanta at a low ownership like that, you should always play them. I mean, because they're Atlanta. They have one of the best lineups in baseball from top to bottom. I always like those teams that flip it over really well, that can get on a roll. They don't have any automatic outs. So to me, Atlanta definitely fits that bill. Anytime you can get Atlanta on a cheap night, as far as ownership, you should always take advantage if you're throwing in a bunch of teams.
Yeah, I see Albies kills lefties. I wish he was going up against the lefty. That's when I play Ozzy.
Hey, real quick, there was a question in the chat from King of Smack I saw from a few minutes ago. He asked me about if he's playing one lineup about stacking. Yes, you should always stack, my friend. I mean, if you're playing, any kind of tournaments, you should always stack it up. I think there was some percentages ran. The 4-3 was like 33% of the tournaments were won. When it went to 4-2, it was like another 27%, and the 3-3 was like another 20. So literally between those three kind of combos, I mean, they were taking down almost 80% of the tournament. So yes, you should always stack. Look for correlation in your lineup. Make sure you're not too far off from different guys, and don't be afraid to use a 9. Wrap it back around. I mean, that's how it's done. So yeah, definitely look for the stack. You hit your stacks, I can almost assure you, you'll generally win unless it's really one-sided and one guy hits like 3 homers and you don't have them. But generally stacks, you just need one good inning too. A few weeks ago, I think I was on the show, I told everybody to play against Oakland and against JP Sears, and I said, you know what? The first 5 or 6 innings are going to be hell, but we're going to kick ass in the last part of the game. Everybody in Discord's crying about having, against the A's, and what happened? Boom. And everybody's at the top of the tournaments with, against the A's, and that's how baseball is. So you can't get front. That's why you have a stack. You just got to hit a big inning or two, and it narrows down your it just narrows the variance down. So definitely,
you catch that blow up inning or two from some of these pitchers, and you're there pretty much. You're minted. You get around that lineup once, or once and a half in the inning, you're mint. So that's the key. I did see those percentages too, and there was a big drop off after
absolutely. It was alarming for me as a player that plays all the time to see that. I mean, I've always done that. JSU, I know you have too. I mean, I was doing that a long time ago. I mean, back when baseball, I kept getting my ass beat by Love's bases, figuring out what the hell's going on here, man. And you pay attention after a while. But stacking's number one in baseball for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move past that Atlanta game here. We got Colorado and Texas. I don't think you guys are playing any Colorado, but could you play some Texas here? Mangone, a little Texas stack for you, maybe?
Yeah, definitely not Colorado. I can play Texas. Carl Kaufman's probably got it in for him today. We got Corey Seager also back in the lineup. I mean, that's obviously nice. You get the Semien, Seager, Lowe, Dallas Garcia. I mean, this Texas lineup just looks a little bit better than it has in the past. I know Seager was kind of injured for a little bit. It just looks like a stronger lineup now. So I'm definitely encouraged by this Texas stack. Josh Jung, I know he's someone that Joey Work got the people on for a little, AL, I think the Rookie of the Year bet. So he's another good option in there. I think up and down 1 through 9, you can pretty much play any of these guys. So I like this Texas stack. They're definitely going to be on my top stacks list.
G Rising, we going 2 for 2 with Texas?
Yeah, I actually like Texas. I think Houston's going to get probably most of the ownership as far as the stack goes, just because, I mean, we all know now Oakland is Coors Field. So, we usually chase the Oakland stacks, but I think Texas is right there. Texas has been hot. Adolis Garcia's been hitting. I mean, all these guys have been absolutely crushing here lately, and I think it's a great spot for him. So, even Duran, he's a cheap guy you can get. I think he's been hitting pretty well here. Let's look here in the last week. Yeah, I mean, he's got a couple homers. So I don't mind him at all either. So, yeah, I think this is a stack that you could definitely use. Maybe it'd be a little bit different than trying to be. I actually think I got Texas rated as my number 2 stack. Houston would be 1 just because they're playing the A's, and I think I got Texas right here behind Houston as a top stack. So I think you can get all these bats in. With Seager coming back, that lineup's just going to get longer. So I think that's definitely a team that I like. In Texas, I mean, I generally go back JSU and I look at all the what happened the day before and look at the winning teams in tournaments. And I can tell you right now, I've said to myself, Texas has been in the winning lineup many times this year. So, they're definitely a team that can get you to the top of the pile. So
Texas too. They have like a good mix. They got a few cheap guys that are like really cheap that can get you the studs in the stack too. So you can play like the Adolis Garcia and the Marcus Semien or the Corey Seager. Like you can play those studs and then play like a Grossman or Duran who's been hitting good. Some of those guys, and kind of fits the stack pretty well. So I
checked Kaufman's minor league pitching stats. I mean, they're nothing great. I mean, he's a B- to C+ pitcher in the minors. So, when he comes up here, we'll see what happens here. I think they're literally running him out there because they ran out of arms. So I think he's so far down on their depth chart. I don't even think, he shouldn't even be sniffing this game actually up here in the major. So I think that's part why I like Texas tonight. I think this kid's in way over his head. I think he's going to run into some issues, and I think that bullpen, is to be had too. So definitely like this spot here for Texas.
Yeah, I'm with you. Texas, we're all on Texas here. Let's go to the next game. We got KC and the White Sox here. G. Risen, I'll come right back to you because you talked about Kansas City actually a little bit earlier. You said you like Kansas City. I kind of like the White Sox a little bit too on the other side. I'm definitely not afraid of, Zach Greinke. Yes, he's annoying sometimes, but he can also blow up sometimes and give some bombs up sometimes. So I like those combinations, and I'm going to have some White Sox backs here. What are you doing with this game?
I'll tell you what, my 3rd favorite stack and 4th favorite stack are in the same game. I actually think this is a great opportunity to have a game stack. I mean, you're looking at the over-under. It's one of the, we're looking at 9. Kopech is, to me, one of the worst pitchers on the slate. Greinke doesn't miss bats. He's got a low strikeout rate. The White Sox have been hitting here recently. Now, I think I'd go with more of like a 4-2 combo here and maybe have 4 White Sox and then maybe 2 of the Royals, and maybe look at like Bobby Witt or maybe a Perez or a Pasquino. I think those are some guys that I'd be looking at. But Lewis Robert, damn, this dude's been smashing the shit out of the ball. Anderson's been hitting pretty decent. The only thing I don't like about the White Sox, they don't hardly ever steal bases. Like, sometimes you're not getting the homers and you got a team that's stealing bags. You kind of get that poor man's homer. I think that's, something I look forward to. Like Tampa gets poor man's homers all the damn time. It's pretty fun. But, for me, I think this game here definitely, I like the over in this game here tonight too, as far as just a straight up bet, because I think both these teams are going to score some runs tonight. Probably going to be pretty decent hitting conditions, considering Chicago's not too far. It's got to be up in the 70s. I didn't exactly check. I just know it wasn't, too far as rain. But I think both of these teams, I think if you game stack this one, I think you got a pretty good shot to get to the top. And you could probably get you a pitcher you really like. You could probably go up to Alcantara, even on FanDuel if you wanted to, just because I think you'll get some of these other bats fairly cheaper. But, yeah, I'm all about this White Sox and Kansas City game stack. I think this would be a good one to have.
Yeah, White Sox are cheap too. That's like one of the best things about them. They're very cheap, and the Royals have cheap bats as well too. Outside of obviously Witt and Perez, they're pretty cheap everywhere else. So I like the game stack idea. I think it's going to be like 50s or 60s there for weather. So it's not like super warm, but I do like the over. Still, I'm fine with the over. Mangone, what do you think of the over?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, none of these games stick out weather-wise for what it's worth, so it's kind of worth mentioning that today. You don't see anything where you're like, man, it's like hot in 4 different spots and cold in a bunch of others. So, yeah, I do think that this is not a bad game. I kind of think I prefer the Kansas City side more than the White Sox side. I don't mind some of these White Sox as like a mini stack, like a little Luis Robert. I love him, so he'll be someone that I have as probably a one-off or a mini stack. But I don't know if I'm going to get to the full 5-man of the White Sox as much. I do think this Kansas City side is pretty good for mini stacks too, just because for one, like, do you want to X out? And I say this pretty much all the time, but do you want to X out like Salvador Perez and like Bobby Witt Jr., like when they're at the catcher position and shortstop, where he just seems like he's always a good value, Bobby Witt Jr., Perez at that awful catcher position. Melendez is another cheap option that you can plug in there at the 4-hole. There's like some really good bats in there. And then when you get these filler pieces like Vinny P or an Olivares, these guys are solid options on the Royals. And Michael Kopech, we talked about it. Sure, could he get some strikeouts? Yes, but he can also give up the long ball a ton and get hit hard. I think this is a good spot for Kansas City. I like them more than the White Sox. I like the White Sox too, though. They're not like completely out of the conversation for me. So they're definitely in play, but I think I like them more from that mini stack perspective. But like Kansas City a lot. They're definitely on the list for me.
Yeah, if I had to start out, I like the game stack idea. If I had to start out a team, like I definitely want Perez and MJ Melendez, Bobby Witt. Like I want those 3 guys from KC, and then I want like Robert for sure from the White Sox. I think Jake Berger's been smashing the ball recently, and he's 2,800. I'd want him. I'd start with those 5 guys if I was game stacking this game. Those are the 5 guys I start with, and then you kind of fill out your spots from there. But you'll still have money to spend for whatever pitchers. I like the idea of a game stack, so I'm in on that. Well, let's see. We did have a question in the chat, Mangone. I'll throw this to you because you do play probably more head-to-heads than me and G Ryzen. Do you stack in your head-to-heads?
I don't purposely do it, never have, but it can, if it organically happens, sure, right? Like it just depends on the scenario and what team you're like, how you're going. But I'm cool with it. I think it's perfectly fine. Like you'll see sometimes, like when we kind of put out the cash chart, when you kind of see it, you'll have like maybe there'll be like two Dodgers selected. If there's 2 Dodgers selected, and there's a bunch of other Dodgers on the chart. Well, that might not be a bad spot to do the game stack. But I won't prioritize, like, for instance, like if I think there's like a really underpriced option, like Max Kepler's in the 1-hole, in a really good spot against like a righty. I'll take Max Kepler at that 1-hole spot than like Trace Thompson in the 8-hole, right? That's just a way that I would approach it. You can stack, but you want it to organically happen. You don't want to force it. And then the only other argument you can make is if the slate is a little tougher, and you're struggling with it, maybe then you lean to stacking just to kind of hit that correlation altogether. But again, that's a head-to-head, right? And that can change if you're playing multipliers. Maybe you want to stack a little bit more in multipliers rather than the head-to-heads and 50-50s.
All right, there you go. Let's get to the game that I feel like is going to have it's probably the highest stack, right, on the board here. Houston and Oakland here. In Houston, Houston gets, the terrible Oakland pitching staff. Waldichuk first, and then you go into the bullpen after that. And they also get an upgrade in the lineup. Mr. Jose Altuve making his return finally into this lineup. G Ryzen, I know you're going to play a little bit of Houston. It's a good spot. What's your preferred route, though? Because, these bats are expensive here.
Yeah, they are expensive, but I really like Altuve coming back. It's going to give a nice little boost to that lineup, stretches it out a little bit more. That lineup's already been hitting. They've been smashing the shit out of the ball. And now you get a guy that walks in and he's just literally a gas can. This guy here is giving up 15 earned runs in his last 21 innings. 5 homers, and they're letting him go. He's been pitching like mid-90s. I think they already realized, like, hey, we're going to play softball today. So I think that's, what I'm looking at. So I think Houston is in a great spot. I wish they were on the road. I get the park's a little better, but I would like to have that extra at bat because I'm going to guess they're not going to get that 9th inning at bat. Abreu's really been the only guy in Houston I've been kind of staying away from. He just hasn't really been hitting, but some reason today I got a feeling that guy's going to hit a home run. I just kind of got a weird vibe. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to play him. He's really been struggling. Like I said, he's the only guy. But I mean, you look at some of the splits, Bregman, he's in a great spot. I think Pena is in a really good spot. As far as this Corey Julks, who's sitting in the 7 hole, I don't know too much about him. Probably get him fairly cheap. Maybe somebody who could help round out your lineup, but don't be afraid to play Alvarez and Tucker. I think both of them are really matchup proof. I think both of them get in a homer against anybody. So don't be afraid. And obviously, I think this guy's only going 4 or 5. It's from drinking these damn beers. I got the burps.
See,
but
if you drank a Bud Light, you might not have had the burps.
That's true. I need another one. That's the problem. But so to me, I mean, this bullpen sucks too. So you're going to get some righties coming in at the back of this bullpen. I mean, we could easily see 10 runs out of the Astros tonight. I mean, obviously, we already know that Oakland is just terrible. Worst bullpen of almost baseball history. So no reason not to attack it.
All right, Uncle T, I get it. Altuve, he's shorter than JSU. Finally, we found someone who's shorter than JSU. But one thing Altuve does do is the man hits bombs. He gets it done. All right, so that's all that matters in baseball here, right, Mangone? We want dudes who get it done.
Yeah, we want dudes to get it done, so we don't want Jose Abreu because he doesn't get it done.
Yeah,
maybe the gummy you took may have kind of been a bad gummy if you got a feeling about this. I don't know. I'm not
he's got to hit one sooner or later. He's big enough.
I'm good.
Mangone, he's playing the odds right now. He's
right.
It's like LeBron in his threes. It's like, man, he's 0 for 20 or 1 for 20. Like, he's gonna hit one eventually. Like, he's got to hit one next game.
G-Rising did that with Miguel Cabrera. The old Miguel Cabrera hitting his whatever home run bet. So
I mean, I'd feel better about Abreu hitting a homer than Cabrera.
Well, so Jose Abreu is someone I'm either going to limit it and just or I'm going to exit. I'll probably just exit, and I'll still get Astro stacks, and they'll still be pretty good. And you know what? They'll be unique because a lot of these teams just pound Jose Abreu because projections, I don't know, they're not adjusting for it, in my opinion, at least. So I'm going to just keep kind of getting underweight on Jose Abreu, my Astro stacks. I won't be having a lot of him, so not that interested in him. But I love this Astro stack. Definitely one I want to be a part of. I talk about sometimes you want to make some key fades in spots, and I don't think I need to do it with this Astros team. Like, I'm doing it in other spots. I talked about I'm going to fade Blake Snell. It's going to be uncomfortable. I'm going to hope for the best, and I'd rather make a fade there than with this Astros team. So I'm definitely playing this Astros stack, though. And one way to make it different is definitely Xing out Jose Abreu. So I'll be off him.
I will say something real quick, like something I like to do. So obviously the most expensive guy in this Astros stack is Alvarez, right? So, I mean, you got that matchup, there's going to be some people playing them. That's when I like to do the 3-3 combo, maybe leave out Alvarez and then go get me another big bat somewhere else that I think's got a little better, maybe like throwing in an Acuna or somebody, because now you're going to have a low-owned guy. You got a Houston stack, you got a low-owned Acuna, or a Mookie Betts or somebody like that. That's generally a lot of the strategy I try to make. If that guy goes off and my Houston stack goes off, and my Acuna or Betts beats Alvarez, I'm going to be ahead of all those stacks. So just a little strategy thing sometimes that I like to look at in situations like that we're staring at today.
0 dongs in 174 plate appearances. Is that Jose Abreu?
That's about right.
Oh, boy. Well, one thing you're right about, he is due at some point. He has to be due.
I got a funny feeling. I wonder what the odds are. They better give you some good ones.
They have to be giving you good odds on that. I'll look it up as we go to the next game here because we're running out of time. Dodgers and St. Louis. In St. Louis here. G-Rise, I'll just throw it back to you here. Any love for either of these two teams, Matz and Gosselin, on the mound?
I mean, St. Louis been hitting the shit out of the ball. I think you could get him really sneaky low here. Gonsolin, I mean, he's average. He's not that bad. Matz is another guy I don't mind attacking, maybe with some one-offs. I really like Mookie Betts here today. I mean, Mookie obviously can steal bags, can hit homers. So Mookie's probably at one at the top of my list, but I don't really have any feeling. If I was to stack any of them, maybe a mini stack with some Dodgers, I don't mind that. But yeah, I'm not really interested here in any of them, maybe under a mini stack. But MMEing, yeah, you might want to use maybe a little bit of both teams because I think both teams have opportunities. But I just think there's way better spots here tonight to attack than going after, such a coin flip like that on both sides.
All right. Well, DK has his home run odds at plus 450, which I just think
That's
is
not
egregious.
even close to good enough.
I mean, Jeremy Pena's at what is it, plus 500? Jake Myers 600. I mean, yeah, I'm not going there, G Rising.
Yeah, I'd have to have 10-1 to even think about
it. Sounds about right. I mean, maybe 9. I could think about 9-1, I guess, but
right.
Yeah,
for 174. Like, geez, come on, give us some break.
I agree. Mangone, any Dodgers?
Yeah, I like the Dodgers, actually. Steven Matz is someone that can give up some hard hits. He doesn't go super deep into the game. He'll either go probably between 3 and 5 innings, right? This isn't a guy that typically has that long leash or goes that deep. And I think we can definitely take advantage of him here. This Dodgers lineup is awesome. I'm in on these Dodgers. I think they're a really good stack tonight. I'll definitely have exposure to them in my MME stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't mind some Dodgers here. Vargas at 2,600 is cheap. You got Chris Taylor at 3,200. I'm in. I can play some Dodgers with you. Let's move to Minnesota and the Angels here. Angels, no Mike Trout in the lineup today. So that's a little bump for Joe Ryan. Both these pitchers, too, are going to get a little ownership, I think. Ryan and Detmers. Ryan a little more than Detmers, but I'm probably staying away from the hitters from both sides on this game, just on this big slate. I don't think I need to go here. If you guys just want to pass, just say pass. But G Rising, anything?
I would say one thing about this game. I think Reed Detmers is definitely a teeter-totter. He could go either way. So if you do want to play Reed Detmers and you're playing MME, I'd stack against him too. Use the Twins. I mean, because Reed Detmers is going to get some ownership. I mean, if you stack up the Twins and they go off, it's instant print fest. So don't be afraid. Sometimes I'll do that. Like if I think I'm playing a pitcher or relying on a pitcher, that's why I said sometimes I play 3 lineups. If I'm really sketchy about my top pitcher, I'll stack against him in one of my other lineups, just thinking like, man, if he goes out, I'm going to ship that tournament with that lineup. So I think this is a perfect scenario, as well as the Snell game. So I think this one is better than that for that, because Reed Detmers definitely probably has more of a chance to fail than Snell does. But yeah, I think this is a good opportunity where you could use him and stack against him as well if you have multiple lineups.
All right, there you go, Mangone.
Yeah, I don't really have interest in this game. It's not one that I'm excited about. I like Joe Ryan. I don't hate Reed Detmers either, so I'm not stacking up this one.
Yeah, pass would have been fine too, but that works. Mangone, I'll ask you this: worried about the weather in the Dodgers St. Louis game?
Yeah, I typically the way I handle weather on these shows is I just wait till I get off the show. We go into Discord and it's just once we're 30 minutes in, I like to just do the breakdown like normal. So I don't think it's something I'm that worried about, but if so, I'll talk about it in the Discord. If I get worried about it, I'll go into the Discord and definitely let the people know.
What I would say is it does seem like the game that there is the most weather concern, I think, on the slate for the most part. So be cautious. If you're someone who makes your lineups and then needs to go make sure your kids, get food and you don't have time to just sit by your computer and wait on stuff like that, maybe just stay away from the one game with some weather issues or possible weather issues. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see. As of right now, I'm just taking a wait and see approach. If the weather is fine, then I'm going to have some Dodgers, obviously. But again, I'm going to be sitting by my computer waiting to make updates, and I would recommend you do the same if you're playing this. If not, though, I would just fade the one game that looks like to be the one with risk.
That is my downside. I am going out to Denver tonight, so that is one of the issues I'm going to have. So
where are we going? What art show are we going to today, Mangone?
No art show. I'm going to dinner for a birthday. So
okay.
A good meal.
You going to a nice restaurant? You got to dress up. You got to dress to impress.
I don't have to dress up too much, but yeah, I'm not going to go and looking like a slob. Right?
Is it a hat event or a non-hat event?
That is, I don't, it's always a hat event for me, but I will probably make sure the hair is done right enough. So
the restaurant can't be super fancy then if there's a hat involved.
Yeah, it's not fancy like that, but it's a nice place that the game will be on too. So I like the food there, so I'm excited. It'll be a good night and I get to watch my Celtics pound the Heat tonight, hopefully.
All right, there you go. Let's go. We got 2 more games here. Boston and San Diego. Mangone, I'll just throw it to you because you didn't have much to say about the last game here. Snell, Paxton coming back the first game. He was fine. Like St. Louis, I think a lot of people stack St. Louis too, and 9 Ks in his first game against St. Louis, who I think a lot of people look at St. Louis as a team they do prefer against lefties with all that right-handed power. And he got through it pretty fine. Only gave up 4 hits, 2 earned, gave up 1 bomb, 1 walk, but 9 Ks. You didn't talk about Paxton, but are you going against him?
One thing I noticed when I kind of like build like with optimizers, right? And I've definitely been like, I have probably been more of a single entry 3 max person for MLB, but this year I'm trying to mess with the MME a little bit more. Like I was getting a lot of Padres as like mini stacks. And the reason why is, well, I'm kind of embracing some of these cheaper pitchers, and like, that's when a Fernando Tatis one-off just pops up, right? So I'm not going to say no to those kind of like mini stacks of the Padres. I think they make a lot of sense. They have some really big bats in their lineup. So I like Fernando Tatis and some of these other guys, but I don't think I'm getting too much of the 5-mans against Paxton. It's more so just trying to chase those home runs, and I have the salary, just grab someone like Tatis. So that's it for that. And then Boston, no chance I'm playing anyone there. I am fading Snell, but I'm not playing the Red Sox.
Yeah, I don't really like playing bats in this park, so I'm probably just going to fade it. G. Ryzen, what are you doing?
I mean, these 2 teams here colliding. I mean, shit. Boston was one of the hotter teams in baseball as far as I think 7 of their last 10 games have gone over, and San Diego, like 1 of their last 10 games have gone over. So you got one team that's been giving up runs and scoring runs. You got another team that's been playing in low scoring type baseball games. So here we go. We got these 2 teams. I think Paxton, with those 9 Ks, I think he did surprise some people. We know if he's right, that dude's a decent pitcher. He's a big, tall lefty that just brings it. So I could, definitely see a decent outing out of him, but he's not anybody that I'm really going to rely on as far as pitching. I think there's just too many gray areas there. But I mean, you could look at San Diego as maybe a sneaky stack if you wanted to, just because the guy just came back. You don't know what to expect. He did go 87 pitches last game, so they did give him a decent leash. So, I just think, though, a guy coming back, there's definitely a potential there for a blow up. So I think that would be the only reason, just because he came back. I think I would rather attack him like beginning, but, than more games in. So I think that'd be the only reason I'd probably look at San Diego. And if you like a late hammer, you could go there. Boston's bullpen isn't that great. Soto, Tatis, I mean, these guys are all popping around. You look at optimizers. So, I mean, sure. I mean, I don't mind it, but it's nothing for me that I'm really enamored with. But definitely, they just haven't been scoring runs. So I'm really not going there.
Yeah, I'm with you here. Brad in the chat, though, says Paxton, it's the play today on FanDuel, G. Rise. He says, take your 30 and stack bats. What he says.
That's exactly. Take your 30 and stack bats. If you think Paxton's that guy for you, then great. I'm going to go a little chalk here and just go Snell. I'm going to be a little different in my bats, but I don't mind Paxton at all. I mean, I really don't. I need to see it more than once or twice. I mean, I've been playing this FanDuel baseball since 2010, the last 13 years, and I seem to just always kick myself. After you do it so long, you get in scenarios and you just know the scenario is like playing cards. You know what the scenario is. And this scenario is a pitcher that I haven't seen that often. And I'm just not willing to put all my money on that guy today. So if you're MMEing, sure, I'd rather take the safer bet in a guy that's already been doing it. So, I mean, that's just the way I feel about it.
That's the risk, though, right? I mean, because a lot of people, I think, want to take the wait and see approach on those type of pitchers. And, if you got a feeling like Brad in the chat, you just want to say, hey, listen, this guy has the stuff, and he showed it once. Maybe he's going to show it again.
Yeah,
get it. So
I just think you're not going to win it at pitcher. I just try not to lose it at pitcher, right?
Right. I mean, I get you. Yeah. Well, we got one last game, and I doubt anyone's playing bats in this game. Mangone, there's no way you're not saying pass with this game.
Pass.
Yeah. G. Ryzen, you passing here?
Yeah, I'm passing. There isn't anything I would even think about playing.
All right. Well, that's the slate. All games broken down. We went way over, which is what you should expect when I come on a free show with Mangone. plus anyone else, really. Doesn't matter if it's G Risen or anyone. It's just too much talking.
No, I drank 3 beers.
For us. You drank 3 beers.
Jeez.
That's like when me and Tony used to do the golf shows together, just me and him, and he used to drink like 2 bottles of wine in the time it would take for us to do a friggin' show. It was a ridiculous amount. But all right, favorite stacks, and if you guys want to give like your top play, we'll do like top play as well. But G Risen, why don't you just run through like your top 3 stacks?
Top stack, Houston. Number 2, Texas. And I'll go 3 and 4, that game stack between Kansas City and the White Sox. I think those are my favorite.
Mangone, top 3?
Yeah, I'm pretty close to G Risen. I'm going to say Houston, Texas, Dodgers, and Kansas City Royals. Those will be my 4.
There we go. And if you want Mangone's 3 max strategy and cores, they'll be on his 3 max on the site for the premium members. And you can also get K Falix on Mangone's 3 max strategy and core plays, which I don't know, Mangone, we might have to make a change to the name. I don't know what flows, but can we add like in small print, like and Kevin under your name or something like that? Like Mangone's 3 max strategy plus K Fallic in like really small writing.
I would like to say plus Kevin's cores, but he's known as K Fallic, so that's the only issue. But I love writing Kevin's core.
I like Kevin too. I think we write Kevin. I think it's a good idea. We'll have to talk about it, but I do think it's a good idea. My favorite stacks are going to be, I like the game stack. I like the White Sox. I like Texas, and I'll throw in KC. Those are the 3 I'm going to look at. Washington would be a mini stack, so that's not like a full stack for me. So, yeah, those are my 3 top ones. Mangone, you got a play of the day for us? Where are we going? Ping pong play of the day for Mangone? Give it to us, buddy.
Yeah, ping pong play of the day. Let's go with Mr. Adolis Garcia. He is 5.1K. Expensive, but that's okay, right? We're not dying to go up to these expensive pitcher options. We'll go with Adolis Garcia. He hits a bomb, or El Bombi, I think, as our guy Steve Boynton calls him in the Discord chat. He hits a bomb today. He's my play of the day.
All right, and I'll go next with my LG apparently play of the day, which I still can't believe this is actually a thing. It should never be allowed. It's ridiculous. Helmet, I'm talking to you. This is just absolutely ridiculous, but congrats. It's very comical here. So the LG play of the day, and we're going to go to Chicago. The White Sox, 2,800. My guy at third base, Mr. Jake Berger. He's been getting it done recently. I like him to get it done here again. Hitting a bomb here against Mr. Greinke at 2,800. And then we finally have the up in smoke play of the day, Mr. G Risen. God, I love that picture, by the way.
The fun thing of going last is that you both took my dudes. So I like both of the guys that you guys said already. So with that being said, one other guy that I also like today is Mr. Alex Bregman. I mean, I hate to go on the chalk team, but I think Bregman's going to have a great game tonight. And he's one of my favorite top plays. But I think Bregman's in a great spot. He's been hitting well. But, yeah, Jake Berger really was my top guy. So I think Berger, I got to agree with you, JSU.
Well, you can just say him, and we can be team
Berger.
The
best thing is he's got that 7 next to his name in the 7 hole. So I'm hoping you get him a little lower owned, even if people play those stacks. So I think because of that, I think Jake Berger is actually one of my favorite plays tonight, just because he's sitting in that 7 hole.
I love it. I love it, Mr. Jake Berger. All right, so we got El Bombi, we got Jake Berger, and then, I mean, G Risen's play is Jake Berger, really, because he wanted to give Jake Berger, but he gave you Alex Bregman as a third. So there's your 3-man right there. We gave a nice tier, too, with the salary. I thought that was pretty good, not planned out at all. If you guys want more baseball content, more of the live shows, they already started, I would assume, the premium show over at Run Pure Sports. You got Holden, DC, Stevie Boynton, taking you all the way up to lock, breaking down this slate. So if you want more baseball content, get over there, get all of the cores and the player pools with all of our stuff. And then we got showdown content for NBA tonight, showdown show for the premium members at 7:30 with me and Big T. So stay tuned for that. That's going to do it for us. For me, JSU, G Risen, and Ping Pong Man himself, Mangone, we're out.